Welcome to ASTRALX, Illuminating Your Cosmic Path. I'm Solarian Zephyr, your cosmic strategist.
And I'm Lunaria, Selene, your intuitive guide.
And together, we are going to delve deep into the profound influence of the stars on your life.
Yes, that's right. We're going to really unpack the specific energies that are at play for you, especially if you happen to have a Libra Rising and a Gemini Sun as you move through the year 2025.
Now we've got a collection of astrological reports, articles, all sorts of insights and analyses that break down these signs individually and also in combination.
And of course, we can't forget about those major astrological transits. Those are really going to add some extra spice to the mix in 2025.
Exactly. So we're going to try and distill all those cosmic whispers into practical wisdom you can actually use.
That's the goal, to give you a clearer vision of what's ahead and how you can best navigate this year with your unique astrological blueprint.
So the big question we're going to be exploring today is this. How can understanding your Libra Rising and Gemini Sun empower you to consciously shape your relationships, career, and personal growth throughout this year?
That's what we're here to uncover. So let's dive right in, shall we?
Absolutely. Let's start with that outward persona, the mask you wear when you meet the world, your Libra Rising.
Libra Rising. It's like this shimmering aura that precedes you. It's the first impression you make.
And what kind of impression is that?
Well, it's one of diplomacy and grace. Libra Risings naturally seek to create harmonious spaces wherever they go.
They're the peacemakers, right?
Exactly. They have this innate ability to smooth things over, to put others at ease with their tact and charm.
I imagine people are really drawn to that kind of energy.
Oh, absolutely. Who doesn't want to be around someone who just exudes balance and fairness? And speaking of fairness, Libra is ruled by Venus, that planet of beauty and harmony.
So how does Venus influence this rising sign?
Well, it infuses this Libra rising with a deep appreciation for aesthetics, for beauty in all its forms.
So it's not just about being charming, it's about having an eye for beauty as well.
It's about creating an environment, a personal style, a way of being that resonates with this refined sensibility, a deep connection to harmony and balance.
Makes sense. And our sources also talk about a strong sense of justice associated with Libra rising.
Oh yes, it goes beyond just keeping the peace. There's this deep-seated need for equity, for ensuring that everyone has a voice and that things are fair.
So it's not just about avoiding conflict, it's about making sure things are right.
Precisely. And that often positions Libra risings as natural mediators. They instinctively want to understand all sides of a story before forming an opinion.
They want to see everyone get a fair shake. But that careful consideration can sometimes have a bit of a shadow side, right?
You're right. There's the potential for indecisiveness.
Because they're weighing all the options so carefully.
Exactly. And that can lead to a hesitation in making decisions, sometimes in a world that often demands quick responses.
So it's about finding that balance between thoughtful consideration and timely action.
Absolutely. And it's something that Libra risings can work on, consciously recognizing that tendency to overthink and learning to trust their gut a bit more.
Makes sense. So how does this Libra rising energy play out in relationships, especially romantic ones?
Well, the pursuit of harmony is paramount for Libra risings in all their relationships. They seek peaceful interactions. They really strive to build comfortable and understanding connections.
And in a romantic relationship, that can be really beautiful.
It creates this foundation of mutual respect and appreciation, a sense of partnership where both people feel seen and heard.
And interestingly, our sources point out that Libra risings are often drawn to partners who are a bit more assertive and dynamic.
Yes, it's like the scales seeking that balance, attracting a counterweight, someone who can complement their own more receptive nature.
And when disagreements inevitably arise, how do Libra risings tend to handle those situations?
Their first instinct is always to try and find common ground to facilitate a peaceful resolution. They are masters of diplomacy and understanding different viewpoints.
So they're the ones who try to smooth things over, even in a conflict.
Yes, but there's a potential pitfall here as well. The desire to avoid conflict can sometimes lead to them not fully asserting their own needs.
So they might end up compromising too much just to keep the peace.
Exactly, and that's where learning to set healthy boundaries comes in, being able to stand up for themselves while still maintaining that harmonious approach.
Makes sense. So professionally, where do Libra risings often shine?
Careers that leverage those natural skills in diplomacy, negotiation, collaboration, those are really fulfilling for them.
So anything that involves working with people and building relationships.
Yes. Think roles in social justice, human rights law, even design and the arts.
Because of that appreciation for aesthetics and balance.
Exactly. So Libra risings can really thrive in a variety of fields as long as they're able to use their unique strengths.
Okay, so we've explored the outward persona, the Libra rising, Now let's turn our attention inward to the core of your being, the Gemini Sun.
Ah, yes, the Gemini Sun, the restless intellect, the communicator extraordinaire.
What's the driving force behind this sun sign?
Curiosity, a boundless intellectual curiosity, a thirst for knowledge and connection across a vast spectrum of subjects.
So someone who's always got a million tabs open in their mind.
Exactly, and always eager to open up a few more. They are constantly absorbing and processing information, making connections between seemingly disparate ideas.
And that gift for communication you mentioned. How does that manifest for a Gemini Sun?
They find great joy in sharing their thoughts and experiences. They are able to articulate complex ideas with clarity and often with a touch of wit and humor.
They make learning and communication fun.
They do. They see communication as a vital tool for connection and for spreading information.
So it's not just about talking, it's about building bridges.
Precisely. And that ability to adapt their communication style to different social situations, that's another hallmark of the Gemini Sun.
So they're the social chameleons.
In a way, yes, they can seamlessly integrate into different groups, adjust their approach to connect with various personalities.
Like they have a whole toolkit of communication style.
Absolutely. And their overall temperament is generally social and lighthearted. They tend to bring a spark of energy and fun to any gathering.
The life of the party, but with substance.
Right. They might be cracking jokes, but they're also the ones dropping interesting facts and engaging in stimulating conversation.
Now, the symbol of Gemini is the twins. How does that duality play out in their personality?
Ah, yes. The twins, they represent this inherent duality that can manifest in several ways. You might find yourself drawn to seemingly contradictory ideas, or you might exhibit different facets of your personality depending on the context.
So it's like having multiple selves within one person.
In a way, yes. And that can be both a blessing and a challenge. It can lead to a sense of versatility, but also to moments of indecision as you try to reconcile these different parts of yourself.
Like you're constantly trying to integrate all these different perspectives and interests.
And that process of integration is a lifelong journey for a Gemini Sun. It's about embracing all those facets and weaving them into a cohesive whole.
And how does this Gemini energy play out in close relationships?
For Gemini Suns, mental stimulation is paramount in their relationships. They seek partners who can engage them intellectually, who can keep up with their quick minds and their diverse interests.
They need someone who can challenge them intellectually.
Absolutely. Someone who can spark lively conversations and debates, someone who's curious about the world and eager to learn new things.
And because they have so many interests themselves, they also tend to have a wide circle of friends.
Yes, they love connecting with people from all walks of life, and they thrive on the variety and stimulation that comes with having a diverse social circle.
And their communication style in relationships, is it also very intellectually focused?
Yes, it's typically witty, charming, and centered around intellectual exchange. They might even approach emotional expression in a more rational way.
Like they process their feelings through conversation and analysis?
Exactly. It's about connecting on a mental level first and foremost.
And that insatiable curiosity we talked about, how does that manifest beyond relationships?
It fuels a lifelong love of learning, a thirst for knowledge that extends far beyond any formal education.
So they're always taking courses, reading books, exploring new subjects.
Absolutely. They are natural students of life, always eager to expand their horizons and broaden their understanding of the world.
And professionally, what kind of careers tend to align with this Gemini energy?
Anything that utilizes their communication skills, their adaptability, their intellectual agility.
So things like writing journalism, teaching, public speaking.
Yes, those are all great examples. And also marketing, any role that involves connecting with people, conveying information, and constantly learning new things.
So a Gemini Sun needs a career that's dynamic and mentally stimulating.
Exactly. They thrive in environments where they can use their minds and their voices to make a difference.
So we have this charming, harmony-seeking Libra rising meeting the world, and this intellectually vibrant, communicative Gemini Sun driving you from within. How do these two energies interact in your everyday life?
Well, first of all, it's important to remember that both Libra and Gemini are air signs.
So they have that shared element of air, which is all about intellect, communication, social interaction.
Exactly, and that creates a really interesting synergy in this combination. It's someone who is both charming and intellectually stimulating.
The best of both worlds.
In a way, yes. The Libra rising's grace enhances the Gemini Sun's ability to connect with people. It adds a layer of diplomacy and tact to their communication.
So the Libra smooths the edges of the sometimes blunt Gemini.
In a way, yes. And the Gemini's quick wit and mental agility can actually help the Libra make decisions more easily.
because they can quickly analyze the options and consider different perspectives.
Precisely. And that can be a huge asset for a Libra who might tend to overthink things.
So they balance each other out in a really beautiful way. But are there any potential areas of tension between these two energies?
There can be the Libra's desire for harmony can sometimes clash with the Gemini's love of debate.
Because Geminis can get a little bit provocative sometimes.
They can, and what might feel like a stimulating intellectual exchange to a Gemini might feel like a disruption of the peace to a Libra.
So it's about finding that balance again.
Always about balance. And another potential friction point is the Gemini's need for variety versus the Libra's appreciation for stability.
So the Gemini might get restless in a routine while the Libra craves that sense of consistency.
Exactly, and that's something to be mindful of in close relationships especially.
And both signs have that strong social element. How does that play out when combined?
It can amplify a tendency towards people-pleasing, wanting to be liked and accepted, can sometimes overshadow the need to assert one's own needs.
So it's important for someone with this combination to cultivate self-awareness and healthy boundaries.
Absolutely, knowing when to say yes and when to say no, and prioritizing their own well-being is crucial.
Now let's shift our focus to the specific energies of 2025. There are some key astrological transits that are going to be particularly relevant for someone with this Libra Rising Gemini Sun combination.
Yes, 2025 is a year of dynamic shifts and exciting possibilities.
Let's break it down, starting with the lunar nodes.
All right, so in early January, the lunar nodes shift into Virgo and Pisces, and this transit is all about finding balance.
And what kind of balance are we talking about here?
Well, for the Libra rising, it's about balancing physical well-being with mental and spiritual health, making sure you're taking care of yourself on all levels.
So mind, body, and spirit all working in harmony.
Exactly. And for the Gemini sun, this transit highlights the balance between public life and career aspirations versus home life and family responsibilities.
Finding that sweet spot between work and personal life.
Precisely. It's about prioritizing what truly matters and creating a life that feels fulfilling in all areas.
Now, another significant transit is Venus retrograde. And Venus, of course, is the ruler of Libra.
Yes. So this retrograde, which happens from March 1st to April 12th, is particularly potent for the Libra rising.
And what kind of energy does it bring?
It's a time for deep reflection on relationships, on your values in relationships, and on your overall approach to love and connection.
So a time to reassess what you truly want in a partner.
Exactly. And to revisit past relationship patterns to see if there are any lessons you can learn from them.
And for the Gemini sun, how does Venus retrograde play out?
It might prompt a review of your career goals and your social network. Are you surrounding yourself with people who support and inspire you? Are you pursuing a path that feels aligned with your values? These are the questions that might come up.
So it's a time for reassessment on multiple levels, both personal and professional.
Exactly, and it's a chance to make adjustments and course corrections if needed.
Now, what about the influence of Neptune as it enters Aries?
Neptune in Aries is all about idealism and dreams, but also about potential disillusionment if those dreams aren't grounded in reality.
So it's a time to be both hopeful and discerning.
Yes, and for the Libra rising, this transit particularly affects their house of partnerships, so there might be a tendency to idealize their partner or to have unrealistic expectations.
So it's important to keep things in perspective.
Absolutely, and to communicate openly and honestly with your partner about your needs and expectations.
And for the Gemini sun, how does Neptune in Aries play out?
It might color their friendships and their long-term aspirations with a more idealistic lens. It's a time for big dreams, but it's also important to be realistic and to avoid getting lost in fantasy.
So it's about finding that balance between inspiration and practicality.
Exactly. And speaking of practicality, Saturn, the planet of structure and commitment, also enters Aries this year.
And that happens in late May, right?
Yes, on May 24th, and this is a significant transit for both the Libra rising and the Gemini sun.
How so?
Well, for the Libra rising, Saturn in Aries brings a greater emphasis on commitment in partnerships. It's a time to really step into the role of a partner to be responsible and reliable.
So it's about building a solid foundation for your relationships.
Exactly. And for the Gemini sun, Saturn in Aries brings more structure and responsibility to their social networks and their long-term goals.
So it's a time to get serious about your ambitions and to surround yourself with people who support those ambitions.
Precisely. It's about putting in the work and making things happen.
Now let's talk about Jupiter, the planet of abundance and opportunity.
Jupiter always brings blessings, and in 2025, Jupiter enters Cancer in early June.
And what areas of life does Cancer rule?
Cancer is all about home family nurturing and emotional security.
So this sounds like a positive transit for both signs.
It is for the Libra, rising Jupiter in Cancer, brings opportunities for professional growth and recognition, especially in fields that involve nurturing care or a focus on home and security.
So careers that align with their natural strengths.
Exactly. And for the Gemini Sun Jupiter in Cancer, highlights their financial world and their personal values.
So a potential for financial growth and a deeper understanding of what truly matters.
Precisely, it's a time to focus on building a solid foundation, both financially and emotionally.
Sounds like a good time to invest in yourself and your future.
Absolutely. And last but not least, we have Uranus, the planet of change and innovation, entering Gemini.
And this happens in early July.
Yes, from July 7th to November 7th, Uranus will be in Gemini, and this is a major transit for anyone with a Gemini sun.
What kind of changes can we expect?
Uranus is all about shaking things up, breaking free from limitations, and embracing new possibilities. So for the Gemini sun, this is a time of significant personal transformation, a chance to redefine themselves and their path.
So it might feel a bit disruptive, but ultimately it's about growth and evolution.
Exactly. And for the Libra rising, with Gemini ruling their house of travel, higher education, and philosophy, this transit could bring unexpected opportunities or shifts in those areas.
So maybe a sudden trip abroad or a new course of study.
It's definitely a time to be open to new experiences and to embrace the unexpected.
All right, so we've covered the major transits of 2025. Now let's talk specifically about relationships for this Libra rising Gemini Sun combination.
Okay, so in romantic relationships, this combination seeks a partner who can offer both harmony and intellectual stimulation.
They need someone who's both a soothing presence and a stimulating conversationalist.
Exactly. They want to feel comfortable and safe, but they also need their minds to be engaged.
And they might be drawn to partners who are a bit more assertive and dynamic.
Yes, because the Libra rising seeks balance, and the Gemini sun thrives on a bit of challenge.
So it's about finding that complementary energy.
And communication is key as always, especially when it comes to navigating potential conflicts.
Because Libra might want to avoid confrontation while the Gemini is more comfortable with debate.
So learning to compromise and to express their needs openly and honestly is essential for this combination.
Now, what about friendships? How do these energies play out in platonic relationships?
Libra risings and Gemini suns both love connecting with people. They're naturally social, and they thrive in a diverse social circle.
So they'll likely have a wide range of friends with different backgrounds and interests.
And they'll be the friend who's always up for a good conversation, a stimulating debate, or a fun adventure.
And they're also great at mediating conflicts within their friend group.
Yes, that Libra diplomacy combined with the Gemini's ability to see multiple perspectives makes them excellent peacemakers.
So they're the glue that holds their social circle together.
In a way, yes, they bring people together and they help create a sense of harmony and connection.
And what about family relationships? How do these energies manifest there?
For this combination, family is incredibly important. They crave a home environment that is both peaceful and intellectually stimulating.
So they want a family that can have deep conversations, but also knows how to relax and have fun together.
Exactly. And it's important for them to create a space where everyone feels heard and respected.
And where they can express their individuality without fear of judgment.
Absolutely. And they might also be drawn to family traditions and rituals that create a sense of continuity and belonging.
So it's about honoring both the individual and the collective.
Precisely. And that balance between individual expression and family unity is something that will be important for them to cultivate.
Okay, so we've explored relationships now. Let's talk about career and work life for this astrological combination.
Their natural talents lie in fields that involve communication, diplomacy, negotiation, and the arts.
So careers like law, mediation, public relations writing, journalism, teaching.
Yes, those are all excellent examples, and their appreciation for beauty and aesthetics might also draw them to careers in design or the arts.
And because they're so adaptable, they can thrive in a variety of work environments.
As long as the work is intellectually stimulating and offers opportunities for growth and learning.
So they need a job that keeps their minds engaged.
Exactly. And they might also be drawn to careers that allow them to make a positive impact on the world.
So careers with a social justice element or a focus on helping others.
And their communication style in a professional context is both charming and effective.
They're able to build rapport with colleagues and clients, and they can articulate their ideas clearly and persuasively.
And their natural diplomacy helps them navigate challenging situations with grace.
So they're well suited for leadership roles or any position that requires strong interpersonal skills.
And finally, let's talk about the interplay of Libra rising and Gemini sun when it comes to intellectual pursuits and lifelong learning.
This is where these two energies really complement each other beautifully.
The Libra rising's appreciation for intellectual stimulation fuels the Gemini sun's natural curiosity and love of learning.
So they're constantly seeking out new information and experiences.
And the Gemini sun's adaptability helps the Libra rising consider multiple perspectives and make balanced decisions.
So they're not just absorbing information, they're also processing it critically and integrating it into their understanding of the world.
Exactly, and that makes them lifelong learners, always eager to expand their horizons and deepen their knowledge.
So as a man with Libra rising and a Gemini sun stepping into the year 2025, you are equipped with a powerful combination of charm, intellect, and adaptability.
And the astrological transits of this year offer you a unique opportunity for growth and transformation.
Consider how your natural diplomatic skills can help you navigate potential conflicts, and how your quick wit and mental agility can help you seize new opportunities.
And remember to balance your need for harmony and connection with your desire for exploration and new experiences.
This unique blend of Libra rising and Gemini sun creates a dynamic and engaging way of moving through the world.
Embrace your strengths, cultivate self-awareness, and step into the year 2025 with confidence and a sense of adventure.
What new insights have sparked your curiosity today, and what celestial landscapes do you now feel inspired to explore?
We invite you to continue your cosmic journey with us. Follow ASTRALX for more personalized guidance and illuminating insights.
Don't forget to subscribe and unlock even deeper understanding of your astrological blueprint and your unique path ahead.